TIFU by unknowingly orchestrating a heartfelt reconciliation between my best friend and his estranged cousin during a work trip. I messed up, but maybe it turned out okay. I recently had a work trip to Chicago. I work in software sales, and we were meeting with a potential client, a pretty big company that could mean a lot for my team. My company decided to send two people, me, because I had been communicating with them the most, and my coworker. My coworker is also my best friend. We have been friends since middle school, and we have worked at the same company for 3 years. I had been looking forward to this trip for a while. My company does not often send me on business trips. I usually work from home, so this felt like a good opportunity to see a new place and prove myself to my boss. I felt especially good because I was going with my best friend. We do not get to spend as much time together as we used to because we live in different parts of the city. I packed my best suit and made sure I had all the right documents. I also made sure I had time to work out in the hotel gym. I like to stay active. I think it helps me feel less stressed when I travel. I met my friend at the airport. Our flight was uneventful. We talked about the client the entire time. We arrived in Chicago Saturday afternoon. The company booked us a nice hotel downtown. We checked in and went to our separate rooms. I unpacked and took a short nap. Later, we met up in the lobby and walked around the city. It was my first time in Chicago. I wanted to see some of the famous landmarks. We saw the Bean and walked along the river. It was a fun way to spend the afternoon before our work started. I took a lot of pictures. I sent some to my family. We did not stay out too late because we needed to be ready for the meeting. We went to dinner Sunday night near the hotel. I ate a burger. He ordered pasta. We talked about the presentation we would give the next day. I felt confident. We had practiced a lot. The potential client seemed interested based on our previous calls. I thought we had a good chance of closing the deal. We split the bill, and then we went back to our rooms to review our notes one last time. I read through the slides and felt prepared. I went to sleep early because I wanted to be fresh for the meeting. The meetings on Monday went well. The potential client asked a lot of good questions. I felt like we answered them thoroughly. My best friend did a good job presenting his portion. We got positive feedback. They told us they would be in touch soon. Tuesday was similar. The meetings covered different topics, but the outcome felt just as positive. I thought that we had really impressed them. I felt relieved when Tuesday ended. The pressure was off. I was ready to fly home. I looked forward to going home after the last meeting. I planned to relax and catch up on sleep. I was tired from the travel and the presentations. I had a stack of books that I wanted to read. I also wanted to spend time with my dog. I missed him when I was away. I had asked my neighbor to watch him. I needed to call my neighbor when I landed. I needed to arrange a time to pick up my dog. I wanted to get home quickly. I started to think about the best way to get to the airport. I was already packed, so I just needed to grab my bag. My best friend mentioned that he wanted to stay. He asked me if I was okay with it. I told him that it was fine. He seemed happy when I said that. I wondered who his family was. He did not usually talk about them. I assumed that it was an aunt or uncle. I did not pry. I just said that I would see him back home. I booked my flight and arranged for a car to take me to the airport. The meetings were scheduled for Monday and Tuesday. We flew in Sunday afternoon to prepare and relax. My best friend asked if we could stay an extra day. He had family in the area that he wanted to visit. I said that would be fine with me. I did not have anything pressing at home. I was just going to relax anyway. He seemed unusually excited. He did not tell me exactly who he was visiting, just that it was family. On Monday, the meetings went great. We had a good connection with the clients. The presentation went well, and we answered all their questions. We celebrated that night by going to a fancy steakhouse. My best friend was still acting a bit weird. He was more quiet than usual, and he kept checking his phone. I asked him if everything was okay. He said that he was just nervous about seeing his family the next day. I asked him who he was seeing, but he just brushed it off. I did not press him further about his family plans. I figured he would tell me when he was ready. We have been friends for a long time. I know that he can be private sometimes. I respected his space. I just wanted him to know that I was there for him if he needed anything. He seemed grateful for that. We finished our dinner, and then we went back to the hotel. I fell asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow. I was exhausted from the travel and the meetings. The next morning, I woke up feeling refreshed. I went down to the hotel restaurant for breakfast. My best friend was already there. He looked even more tired than the day before. I asked him if he slept well. He said that he had a terrible night. He said he kept having nightmares. I asked him if he wanted to talk about it. He declined. I did not push it. We finished breakfast in silence. I could tell that something was really bothering him. Tuesday's meeting was even better than Monday's. We closed the deal. The client seemed very happy. We were thrilled. We went out for drinks to celebrate with the team. My best friend only had one drink. He said he wanted to be fresh for his family visit. I understood. The next morning, my best friend told me he had an early lunch planned with his cousin. He asked if I wanted to join, stating that his cousin would be happy to have me. I was surprised but said sure, it would be great to meet them. I assumed I would have been told if I wasn't invited. He gave me the address to a restaurant in a nice part of town. I got ready and met him in the lobby. I did not think anything of the location. I assumed his cousin just lived nearby. We chatted about work on the way over. He seemed normal. I did not notice any sign that he was nervous or acting strangely. I should have paid closer attention. I usually can tell when something is up with him. We have been friends since kindergarten, so I know his tells. I wonder if he was trying to hide it from me. Maybe he thought I would refuse to go if I knew the truth. I immediately felt awkward. I considered turning around and leaving. I did not want to cause a scene, though. My best friend looked confused, glancing between my cousin and me. I guess he had no idea about our history. He introduced us, acting like it was a completely normal situation. I forced a smile and shook my cousin's hand. It was tense. I did not know what to say. The whole thing felt like a setup. We took a cab to the restaurant. When we arrived, I saw someone standing outside waiting. It was my cousin. I was shocked. I have not seen my cousin in almost 10 years. We had a falling out when we were younger, and we have not spoken since. I did not even know he lived in Chicago. He looked surprised to see me too. My best friend looked nervous. He explained that my cousin was his cousin too. Apparently, my aunt had a brother who my best friend's mom married. We had no idea we were related in any way. My best friend had been planning this meeting for weeks. He knew about our falling out, and he thought that we could use some time to reconnect. My best friend knew I was mad. He tried to explain his reasoning. He thought that if we were in the same room, we would eventually talk. He also thought it was weird that we had a connection that we did not know about. He said that family is important, and that we should try to get along. I did not say anything. I needed time to process what he said. I also needed to decide if I wanted to talk to my cousin. I looked over at my cousin. He seemed uncomfortable. He had not said a word since I arrived. I wondered if he knew this was happening. I wondered if he was as angry as I was. I took a deep breath and decided to say something. I asked my cousin if he knew we were related. He looked surprised and said no. My best friend spoke up and explained the family connection again. I was angry at first. I felt like my best friend had tricked me. I was not ready to see my cousin. We had a bad fight when we were younger. It was over something stupid, but it still hurt. I told my best friend that he should have told me. He apologized and said that he knew I would not have agreed to come if he had told me the truth. He said he thought it was worth a shot. My cousin looked uncomfortable. He said that he did not know I was going to be there either. My best friend apologized to him too. He said that he wanted to surprise both of us. He thought it would be a good way to break the ice. I did not know what to say next. I felt betrayed by my best friend. I also felt bad for my cousin. He seemed genuinely surprised and upset. My best friend was trying too hard. He made the situation worse. I wish he had just told me. I could have prepared myself for this. Now, I felt blindsided and angry. I did not want to ruin the dinner, though. I took a deep breath and tried to calm down. I told myself to be civil for the sake of the family. I would deal with my best friend later. I could talk to my cousin too. Maybe we could figure out what happened. I still felt weird about the whole situation. I did not understand why my best friend thought this was a good idea. I pushed my feelings aside for the moment. I focused on getting through dinner without a fight. I just wanted to eat and go home. We stood there in awkward silence for a minute. Then, my cousin suggested that we just go inside and eat. He said that we did not have to talk about anything if we did not want to. I agreed. We went inside and sat down at a table. The lunch was surprisingly pleasant. We started by talking about work and the weather. We avoided the elephant in the room. After a while, we started to relax. We began to reminisce about old times. We talked about our childhoods, our families, and our shared memories. The conversation flowed easily. We talked about people we used to know. We wondered where they were now and what they were doing. I mentioned a party we went to in high school. He remembered it vividly. We laughed about some of the ridiculous things we did. It felt good to reconnect after so long. I had missed this easy camaraderie. I realized how much time had passed. Life had taken us in different directions. The mood shifted slightly as we finished eating. I think we both knew we couldn't avoid the real issue forever. He took a deep breath. I could tell he was nervous. He said he wanted to address what happened between us years ago. I nodded. I was ready to talk about it. It had been weighing on me for a long time. I wanted to clear the air and move forward. Eventually, we got to the topic of our fight. It was over a girl. We were both interested in the same girl, and we let it ruin our friendship. It seemed so silly now. We were just teenagers. We both apologized for what happened. We said that we missed each other. We talked for hours. We caught up on everything that had happened in our lives. We learned that we had a lot in common. We both liked the same music, the same movies, and the same books. We both had similar senses of humor. The conversation moved past general interests. We began discussing our families. We both had difficult relationships with our fathers. This surprised me. I had always thought her family was perfect. She said that appearances can be deceiving. I understood that completely. My own family seemed normal from the outside. It was not. We talked about our past mistakes. We shared our regrets. We admitted things we had never told anyone else. I felt a sense of relief. It was good to get things off my chest. I think she felt the same way. The lunch was lasting longer than I had planned. I did not mind. By the end of the lunch, we had made amends. We were not best friends again, but we were on good terms. We exchanged numbers and promised to stay in touch. It was a good start. My best friend was relieved. He said that he was so happy that we had reconciled. He said that he hated seeing us fight. I told him that I was still a little mad at him for not telling me the truth, but I was also grateful. He had given us the push we needed to reconnect. I felt confused. I did not know how to feel about his actions. I was glad that my friend and I were speaking again, but his methods were questionable. He had lied to me. He had also manipulated the situation. I did not like being manipulated. I thought about what my friend had said. He told me he was acting in my best interest. I considered the possibility that he was right. I knew that I would not have contacted my best friend. I also knew that my best friend would not have contacted me. We both would have remained angry and hurt. I realized that he had a good intention. He knew we were both stubborn, and we would never reach out to each other. He forced us into a situation where we had to confront our past. It worked. We finished our trip, and I returned home. I have spoken to my cousin a few times since then. We are slowly rebuilding our friendship. It is not the same as it used to be, but it is something. I am grateful for that. I did a lot of thinking after the trip. I realized I had been unfair to both my cousin and my best friend. I had been so focused on my own feelings that I did not consider theirs. I decided to apologize to my best friend for shutting him out. I called him and asked if we could talk. I told him I was sorry for not being a good friend. I explained that I was struggling. I also thanked him for pushing me to reconnect with my cousin. He said he understood and that he was glad I was doing better. He said what was most important to him was that I was doing better and that we could continue with our friendship. My best friend is a good person. He always looks out for me. He knew that I was hurting, even if I did not realize it myself. He took a risk, and it paid off. I am lucky to have him as a friend. I still think he should have told me the truth beforehand. It would have saved me a lot of anxiety. But I also understand why he did it. He knew that I would have said no. He knew that this was the only way to get us to talk. I felt conflicted about the situation. I appreciate his honesty now, but I also resent being manipulated. He put me in a difficult position. I had to choose between my feelings and my family. That is not fair to me. He created a situation where I could not win. He should have had more respect for my autonomy. I thought a lot about what he said. I considered my past actions and their consequences. I also examined my current relationships with everyone involved. I realized that I had been holding on to a lot of anger. I did not want to carry that burden anymore. Forgiveness felt like the only way forward. I decided to let go of my resentment. In the end, I am glad that he did what he did. It was a mistake, but it was a good mistake. It helped me heal an old wound and reconnect with family. It turned out okay. I am going to call my cousin later.